Hello everyone. In today's video, we will look at the advanced coding problems in the NQT Digital and the Innovator TCS exams. The important topics for these exams are list and arrays, string manipulation, sorting and searching, the logic building problems, which are like the paragraph type questions, and the basic data types and the implementations. So, for example, if you are considering to solve the problem in Python language, the basic data types in the Python are string, list, tuples, dictionaries. So the most of the questions will be such that you can solve using the basic data types and with a little bit of logic. So the code will not be more than 10 to 15 lines. Now the coding problems for the NQT will be there will be only one coding problem. For the digital profile, there will be two problems, and for the innovator problem also there will be two problems. For digital, the time will be 1 hour. For an innovator also will be 1 hour. For NQT, you have to solve the problem in 1 minute. So now we will look at the two such problems. We will look at the problems of the array or list data types, and also in that we will look at how to solve using list comprehensions. So the question is as follows. Given a square matrix, calculate the absolute difference between the sum of its diagonals. Now what does it mean? They have provided us a test case or the example to understand. So this is a square matrix. Now the first diagonal is 1, 5, 9. This is the principal diagonal. The opposite diagonal is 3, 5, 7. So the sum of the diagonal 1 is 1 plus 5 plus 9 is 15. Diagonal 2 is 3 plus 5 plus 7 equal to 15. And now we have to calculate the absolute difference, which is 15 minus 15 equal to 0. What does absolute difference mean? That the sum, the whatever difference should be, it should be positive. We have to take the mod or the absolute value of it, not the negative sign. So now how the question will be aligned such that they would give some input conditions. Now how the input is given in this problem. The first line would contain an integer n, which would give the size of the square matrix. For in this case, the value of n will be 3. And after that, in the next n lines, there will be n separate space separated integers. For this example only, so the input will be like this: 3, 1, 2, 3 in one line, then 4, 5, 6, and so on. So what you have to do is you have to read this line by line and then carry out the program. What should the program return? The output should be the absolute difference. So you have to return the value of the difference of the diagonals. Let us solve this problem. Let us see how we can solve this problem. So the matrix in the matrix, the elements will be arranged, will have some index values. So for example, the first position will be 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 1 comma 4. For 1, the value to the left of the comma is the row value, and the second value is the column value. So this is how the entire matrix is formed. So now thinking how to solve this problem. What we have what we have to find is we have to find the sum of these elements. Now what we can see is that both these numbers are same. So what logic we can use is I equal to j. If we consider the first term is I and second term is j, so the logic to find these elements is I equal to j. And for this diagonal, the second opposite diagonal, what logic can we use? We can see that the sum of these two terms, 1 plus 4, 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2, and 4 plus 1, is equal to 5. Now, can we find anything, or can we deduce this 5 to something? So 5 is equal to, now we have n is equal to 4. N is equal to 4. So we can say that to get the value of these terms, we have to find I plus j equal to n plus 1. So this is the logic we have to find. But the thing we have to remember is that now we are solving this problem in Python. In Python, the indexing begins with 1 with 0. So the first term will be 0, comma 0, 0, comma 1, 0, comma 2, 0, comma 3. And similarly. So the first condition I equal to j will remain the same. But now when we look at the other diagonal, what we see? We see that I plus j is not equal to n plus 1, but it turns out to be n minus 1. So these are the two conditions that we have to look. I plus j is equal to I plus j equal to n minus 1 and I equal to j. These are the two conditions that we require. These are the two conditions that we require to solve this problem. Now we'll make use of list comprehension for this. Now what is list comprehension? List comprehension, the example of list comprehension is as this. So we write the for loop and the condition what we have to perform with the each and every element of the list in one single line. This saves us the time and also some space. So in Python, the list comprehension is as follows. Example, we have a list and we have to calculate the squares of each of the elements. So instead of writing a for loop and iterating over each element and then squaring the term, we can write it as int x square for x in the list. This is how list comprehension works. Now we will solve this problem. So as the questions mentions that the n input will be provided. So from here we get the value of n. Now we will take a empty matrix. Now we will take an empty matrix. Okay, and then what we will do is for I in range n. So if n is equal to 4, so the for loop will go from 1 to 3. And then what we have to do is we have to take the input and split it. So input will take in the value entire line of value, so it will be like 1 3 1 space 3 comma 4. And now what split will do is it will give us an output in the form of list, but the elements will be in the form of string. So the temp we will have the value string character 1, string character 3, string character 4 in the form of a list. So now we have to, but want to have the integer value. So what we will do is we will make use of list comprehension. So what I have written here is int x for x in temp. So temp is a list. So what the list comprehension says that for every x in temp. So for every x in temp means like for 1, for 3 and 4. So convert the x to an integer value and then append it to the matrix. So in the matrix what we will have is 1, 3, 4. We will have an integer list. Similarly, as the for loop will go on for 1 to 3 like 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3 4 times. So we will have 4 such rows. And as mentioned in the as I have said the and as I have explained you the logic, you will initialize the value of diagonal 0 and opposite diagonal, and we will initialize two for loops such as one will iterate in I, another in j. So how it will go? So first the value will be for I. So the for loop will go as follows. First, when I equal to 0 and then the j for loop will go 0 1 2 3. So when I and j are equal, so that is 0 0, the value is stored in the matrix I comma j will be used, and we will get the value and it will be added to the diagonal, and the loops will go on and on until It finds the values 0, comma 0, 1, comma 1, 2, comma 2, 3, comma 3, and the diagonal value will be going on get added. Similarly, for the opposite diagonal, what values and what condition will the if loop will be activated? So it will be activated in 0, comma 3, 1, comma 2, 2, comma 1, and 3, comma 0. So from both these, so when the for loop will be completed, we will have the well sum of the diagonal and the opposite diagonal. All we have to do is take out the difference, absolute difference. The absolute keyword is used to get the absolute value, and then we will print out the difference value. So as you can see, in less than 10 lines of code, we can solve this problem. Now we will look at another problem. Now what the question says is you have to complete the function. Given a list of four integers, perform the given calculation on each element of the list. The calculation is follows: x cube minus 4x plus 31, where x is the list of items. So if the list is 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So what we have to do is we have to 1 cube minus 4x plus 31 is 1 minus 4 is minus 3 plus 31 is minus 28. Then we have to do the same process for 2, for 3 and 4, and then we have to return this list. So let us see how we can solve this problem. So as the question said, we have to complete the function. So the on the console, when we start the program, it will be like this in this format. There will be a main function given, and there will be a function definition block which is empty. You have to write the code here. So only what we have to do is take in this value and do the calculation and return something. Now let us see how we can solve this using list comprehension. So as the question says, this is the list, and we have to make the calculations of x cube minus 4x plus 31 on every element of this list. So how we can do that? We'll make use of the list comprehension. So the answer to this code can be written in only one line. So this is the function definition block array. The parameter which is given to the input is array. What is array? Array is the list which is given. So what we can do is we can write as the calculation which is to be performed for x in array. This is how the question is solved in only one line. As you can see here, the the answer what we get is this. You can cross verify and check the answer is same. So what this list comprehension does is it takes x as the individual elements of the x array list, and then performs this operation on it, and then saves it in the list, and at the end returns this, and at the end returns this list. This is all what we have been asked to do in this question. This was the easy way if you know this list comprehension. But what if you don't know list comprehension? How would you solve this question? So what would you have done is you would have created a new temporary list and then iterated over the array. So the array is 123, 445, and so on. So then for each value, like 1 to for the first iteration of for loop, we will get one I equal to 123. Then we will perform this value and we'll get temporary we'll get a value, and then we will add it to this new list. In the next iteration of the for, we will go over this value, same operation will be performed, and then the it will be appended in the new. And at the end, when the for loop is completed, we would return this new list. And this is how the question would be solved. As you can see, it requires around 5 to 6 extra lines to solve this question, whereas with the list comprehension it can be done in only in one line. So these are the types of question which can be asked over the topic of list, and they can be solved using list comprehensions. Thank you.